Vincent Man style. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the brothers that are here, the brothers and sisters that are here. Shabbat Shalom to those who may watch. Peace be unto you. Once again, another beautiful Shabbat day that Yah has allowed us to rise, and as well as rise and being able to gather, being able to come together. The book say, right, not forsaking yourself to assemble, right?
Yes.
But that, I guess that gets scratched out because it seems like people want their own thing. Everybody want to do their own thing. But it is what it is. Just give all praise and glory that Yah has made a way. He make a way. We just got to stay in the way. Amen. When it's all said and done. Got to stay in the way. There's a wrestler, a real famous wrestler named Rocky Maivia. They call him the Rock. He said, know your role. He said, shut your mouth and know your role. Huh? So Most High made a way. Amen. We just got to be in our place. But as we always say, peace to the tribes of Israel, to those who are scattered, to the four corners abroad. Peace and shalom to you. Peace and shalom to all those who have joined themselves to this, I like how Bishop Greer says, this more excellent way. Okay, being in this walk is a more excellent way. Peace and shalom to you, to all those who have committed themselves by walking by the Spirit and to adhering to the statutes and the commandments of Yah through Mashiach. Okay, all this is done through Him. We give all praises to Yah, to His plan. I think Shaul says to the Yahudim first, into the Goyim, and then to the nations, as the book says. Not as I say, but as the book says. But as we always say, last and never least, probably most important, right, to the heartbroken, okay, to those that have had their spirit crushed, to those that I have no hope, to those that are incarcerated, on drugs, stuck in the streets, don't know nothing else. This word is for you. But that being said, you got to want out. You have to want out. Sometimes your cell or your situation can become comfortable. You can get comfortable in your pity. Yep. All right? You can get comfortable in your pride. You can get comfortable in just the base living. You can get comfortable in that. And if you get comfortable in that, well, then the word is not going to apply to you because you ain't calling on nothing. Right? The book will tell you, I cried out and He heard my cry. He heard my cry and then He came. But this word is for you. So this word, we don't try to leave anybody out. Now some people will probably say that we do, but we don't. It's word for everybody. Anyway, that ain't the point. So part 2, we'll pick up from last week. So we did not finish all this. I just thought it was best. Had a very nice time in Kentucky last week, and had a really nice weekend, and enjoyed the historical museum of the Ark, and everything was really, really good. And so we just, it was hot, so we didn't get all the word. We'll finish the rest of the word today. So we will pick up Israel's journey, part 2, at the doorsteps. Okay, at the door. Brother, can you turn it on low? If you don't mind, brother. Thank you. At the doorsteps. So as we get through this section today, we'll look at the children of Israel going through their different places, and they get to a point where they are encamped at the mountain. Okay, well they're in a vicinity where they can look and they can see it. Okay, still got a ways to go, but they can look, they can see it. Okay, so we're gonna retrace a lot of those stops and things, because for whatsoever thing was written aforetime, It was written for your learning. Okay? And it's to the patience and the comfort of these scriptures that you might have hope. Okay? So Yah is merciful. Well, we can find it in the scriptures. So if he was merciful then he'll be merciful now. Okay? But I have to have a good application. Right? My resume got to be worthy. Okay? Sometimes your application can be terrible. Okay? Look at your application. You ain't held no job no longer than 2 months. 6 months. Every time you turn around, you're fired from somewhere. Something happened. Okay? So, a grace is available if the application fits. And the application got to fit. So, that being said, 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians 10. First Corinthians 10. This is just a repeat from last week. 1 Corinthians 10 and 1. And it reads, Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Did all eat the same spiritual meat, did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. But with many of them Yah was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Okay, so you find that 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 6, right there in your New Testament, or your renewed of a covenant, or really just the epistle of Paul to the believers. That he was reminding them or giving them an example of what happened in the wilderness. Okay, so that should apply to us today. All right, in case you missed it, we'll do a quick recap from last week. We'll go through some of these. Obviously, if you were there, then you know. And if not, we'll try to throw some little breadcrumbs and try to get you caught up and move on to part 2. All right, the wilderness. What do we realize about the wilderness? That the wilderness is where our what thrives? Flesh thrives. Okay, the wilderness is where your flesh, our flesh, thrives. And the wilderness can supply the flesh. Okay, the wilderness has everything the flesh needs. Right? That's the opposite of Messiah, who is the head of the body. He supplies the body efficiently. He supplies the joints so that the body can do what? So it can move. Well, the wilderness supplies the flesh. And then lastly, we realize that the world is a what? Wilderness. It's a wilderness. All right, can we prove it? In the book, Isaiah 14 and 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and did shake the kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, that made the world as a wilderness, that made the world as a wilderness. And that was in Isaiah's time, as he's getting that word. That the world is like a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. That opened not the house of his prisoners. Okay? So, what? The journey is your what? Growth. The journey is your growth. So we talked about growing pains last week. Okay? Growing is necessary. And as a coach and teacher and all this other stuff, it's very simple. You do not grow in your strong areas. That doesn't make any sense. You have to grow in your weak areas. You do not grow in your strong areas. They're already strong. You're already good at it. True growth is where the things you're weak at, the things you're not as good at, things you're not comfortable with. So the journey, we've been going from since the Passover season to where we're headed to Shavuot, is about you growing in what? In your weak areas. Not the strong areas. It's the weak areas. You cannot develop in the off season working on what you're good at. You work on what you're not good at. Now we have a problem. Because you have to address the weaknesses of yourself. We don't like doing that. Don't like being told about that. Don't like coming face to face with that. Right? Can't swallow that humble pie. Because the journey is for you to grow in weak areas. Places where I'm not as good. To grow, you must. To grow, you must.
Go.
We sound dead. Have mercy. The ark was huge, wasn't it?
Amen.
Brought everything to life, right? But then what is there to fear? Thing was huge. Yah said, I'm going to bust water from under the earth. I'm going to bust water from on top of the earth. We ain't going to turn there, but in Peter, you know what it's saying Peter, don't it? He got fire preserved, don't he? I mean, it's in the book. We ain't going to turn there. And we talked about that in Job before. What he got treasures and storehouses in heaven. What he got up in there? Anybody remember?
Hell.
Hail mixed with what? Fire. But we just saw a big old boat. We just saw a big old boat, 510 feet. So to grow, you must
Go.
On the road. The children of Israel left where? What city they leave?
Go.
Getting close. What city? Start with R. Ramses. That city they left was called the what? What was Ramses called?
Hold on. Children of the sun.
Children of the sun.
Yes.
Children of the sun. So they left Ramses. Somewhere in the country in Goshen, some's in the city. Just like now, some in the country, some in the city. So ain't nothing changed. They left a place that was called Children of the Sun. And you had to leave sun worship. Some shape, form, or fashion. Unfortunately, we still got a lot of sun worship in us. So we can't get ourselves together. That's why walking and being in Mashiach supersedes all culture. Trying to relive and rehash a culture that we probably don't really know. Because you've been brainwashed with sun worship for I don't know how long. So children of Israel left Ramses. The city that they left was called Children of the Sun. The first stop of Israel was where? Sukkot. And they made what? Booths. And we realized that Yah was showing them something, wasn't it? About that temporary dwelling. That same message applies to us today, don't it? And then what Peter said, I got to keep you in remembrance of all things. Yeah. Even as Yahshua, the Master, showed me. That this tabernacle is temporary. I got to take this thing off. And put on another one as the Lord showed me. He pulled them out of sun worship and showed them, I got something better for you. But you know what? They had to have faith. And since they didn't have faith, they couldn't enter in, could they? Right? They didn't have faith, but they could not enter in. There was something that he had for them at the end of the road. All you got to do is just get there. It'll be there. So then what's our problem again? Disbelief. So it's the same thing like them. We just read in 1 Corinthians that he wasn't pleased with them, that they overthrown by their lust. But they lack of what? Faith. So with the same thing apply to us, don't it? So we should be able to see ourselves repeating these same errors. The second stop was etam, right? And that meant with them and their plowshare. Okay, and when we looked at this, we realized this was the first time that we saw what? The mentioning of the pillar of cloud, the pillar of fire, because they're about to enter into the what? Wilderness. Okay, and who led them to the wilderness? Who led them to the wilderness? Yah did. He said, you ain't going this way because of the Philistines. I'm going to take you another way. But I'm going with you. I'm holding your hand and taking you, and I'm going to go in there with you. Matter of fact, you got 24/7 surveillance. You got your own 24/7 personal security. You ever seen like entertainers and athletes? When they get out in public, they got all them dudes in black. Or the president come out somewhere, they got all them dudes in black strapped up. Moses said, I got something better than that. I'm going to take you out of the wilderness, and when we go in there at nighttime, I'm a pillar of fire. You can see and I'm a burn. Daytime, pillar of cloud. Keep all the sun off for you. I bet that was some good shade, wasn't it? You know who else talked about shade? Didn't David talk about shade? He talked about the shadow, didn't he? What shadow he talk about? The shadow of the wings? Because you can't really touch that ark. But he said it's safety and comfort and just being under the shadow. Anyway. Then we looked at Pi-Hiroth between Migdol and the sea, Exodus 14, 1 through 14. And it was the place where the sedge grows. Right? So Pharaoh's feeling good. He said, for Pharaoh will say the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. So when we're in the wilderness or this world, it has the ability to shut you in or to get you entangled. Okay? When you're in the wilderness, it's capable, it has the ability to get you entangled or to get you shut in. But you must go through the wilderness. I think it has some examples to give us a better idea. All right. Just couldn't turn to the left, couldn't turn to the right. They was on a straight, narrow path. Straight, narrow path. Get out in the open space, all you see is water. Turn around, you got the Pharaoh and the Egyptians. Another picture. Narrow path. Read, let me get Matthew 7 and 7. Matthew 7 and 7 through 14.
Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be open. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the heavens give what is good to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets.
All right, keep going.
Enter in through the narrow gate.
Through the what?
Narrow.
Is it wide?
No.
It's narrow? So we gotta have faith on this narrow. You gotta have faith.
Yes.
I wonder, like faith, like how they had to have,
right, on
this little narrow path, because it ain't really nowhere to go. All you see is water. I told you I can't swim. I'll turn around. I see the Egyptians. They're not coming to offer me a better lease agreement. They ain't coming to offer me nothing better. Go ahead, keep reading.
Because the gate is wide. And the way is broad. That leads to destruction.
That leads to who?
Destruction.
But if I look out now, all I see is water. But if I turn around, all I see an army and I see water. So it looked like I'm headed for death. Go ahead.
And there are many who enter in through it.
Man, it's a whole bunch of us out here. Go ahead.
Because the gate is narrow.
Uh-huh.
And the way is hard pressed.
It's hard as what?
It's hard pressed.
Hard pressed like that, I wonder. Well, you can't turn to the left or right. It's tight. Go ahead.
Which leads to life.
Which leads to who?
Life.
So at this water here, it seemed like a dead end. But then Moses said something. He said, well, hold your peace or stand here and see your what? See your salvation. See Yahshua today. See Yahshua today. The book said a mighty wind came and parted the waters so that they could get life, or that they would have life. And there was a narrow way, hard. I like it said hard pressed way. Okay, so faith in salvation, all right, or faith in the flesh was something we talked about last week. Was faith in salvation or faith in the flesh? Okay, faith in salvation or faith in the flesh, and we pick one. We picked one actually a lot. We just looked at that in Torah class, didn't we? How quickly Kepha says something that was of the Ruach, and he turned around and said something of the flesh. So we ain't no different. Self-reflection is required before the Lord's Passover. We talked about that. Okay, we talked about that. That's self-reflection, right? And when we're on this journey, on this counting the Omer, on this countdown to get to Shavuot, as we're getting there, we run across these certain things on this road. What do we run across? Run across reminders, right, of how you're not that self-disciplined, and how you're not very resilient. Actually, you give in pretty easy. Not diligent. Not a lot of perseverance. You spoil real quick. Positivity Plaza, Negativeville. Learning. Don't want to learn. Can't be trusted. So we get reminded of these things. Right? But we don't like the reminders. Do we? Because it makes us work on the weaker parts of your game. Ain't worried about the stuff you're already good at. Who cares? The stuff you're not good at. Okay, so that was just a quick review of part one, and so we'll continue. So yesterday was a hard day, but let's continue. What was their theme up there was moving forward, wasn't it? So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Elohim. Okay? They cannot please Elohim. That was Romans 8:8. They cannot please Elohim. Okay? Now we did go over this last week, but it was people was looking sleepy and looking lethargic and about to fall out of their chair and it's melting because of the heat. So I just decided we'll because we wanted to look at the number 4 Marah a little bit more. It was Exodus 15:23 through 26. Marah, okay, a place of bitter waters. A place of bitter waters. And it reads, so Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. So remember, the wilderness is also the what? World. So when you're in the world, you know what you will not find? Water. Say it again. So when you're in the wilderness, you are in the world. And in the world, you will not find water. Because you need water to live. Right? You don't want to dehydrate. Okay? You don't want your temple to be part of a drought. Okay? Because water can also be symbolic of the Ruach. Okay? So in the world, you should not expect water or spirit. All right, go ahead. We've been talking. Let's go ahead and do Romans 8 again, brother. I think it's at 5 through 7, I think.
For those who live according to the flesh.
According to the who?
Flesh.
Okay.
Set their minds on the matter of the flesh.
They set their what?
They set their minds.
So your mind and your heart is in matters of the flesh. And remember, flesh thrives where? In the wilderness. And the wilderness is also the? Go ahead.
But those who live according to the Spirit,
the
matters of the Spirit. For the mind of the flesh is death.
Is who?
The mind of the flesh is death.
So there's no water.
No.
So the people here are having hissy fits because they don't see any water. They think they're going to die, but Yah showed them on the straight, narrow path, okay, I'll lead you to life. Go ahead.
But the mind of the Spirit is life and peace. Because the mind of the flesh is enmity towards Elohim. For it does not subject itself to the Torah of Elohim, neither is it able. And those who are in the flesh are unable to please Elohim.
Unable to please.
But you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit.
Hallelujah.
If indeed the Spirit of Elohim dwells in you.
Amen. So you have to have the Spirit within you, or you got to have some water in you so that you can live. Okay. Really quick, look at I think Romans 7 and 14.
Let me finish this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
And if anyone does not have the Spirit of Messiah, this one is not his. So I just had to finish.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Look at Romans, I think 7 and 14. Because the mind was in enmity. The carnal mind is in enmity with the spiritual mind, and it is not subject to the Torah. Go ahead, brother.
7 and 15.
7 and 14.
14. For we know that the Torah is spiritual.
The Torah is what?
Spiritual.
Who?
Spiritual.
So the Ruach, a person that has a mind of the Ruach, they can fit the borders and the boundaries of Torah, because the Torah is what?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. Okay, go ahead.
But I am fleshly, sold under sin.
But I'm what?
Fleshly, sold under sin.
So we always in a civil war. We always in a civil war.
Yeah.
So there are aspects of you that want and has a desire to please the Torah, because it's spiritual. Real quick, John 4 and 23. You want to do it. There's a parts of you that want to do it, but the other parts of you is in enmity, because that is your flesh. So we're at a constant civil war. Go ahead.
But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth.
And who?
They shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father also does seek such to worship him. Elohim is spirit.
He's who?
Spirit. And those who worship him need to worship in spirit and truth.
Have mercy. So when we look at here back at the screen at Marah, they found no water. Verse 23, when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. So they thirsty, they had nothing to drink. They've been going about 3 days. And they get to, they finally, I think there's some water over there. I think there's some water over there. And you get there, and you know what? How disappointed are you? Because, man, ain't no water here. Water nasty. Can't drink it. Can't win with it. Can't do nothing with this. Waters are terrible. So the book tells us that they had to do what? Moses had to take a what?
A stick and
Had to take a tree. Take a tree and throw it in the waters to make the water what? Sweet. So they could be drunk. So that they could drink. Whichever one's proper. On the screen is Proverbs 27 and 19. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. As water reflects the face. So when you look in the water, a lot of times you see yourself. So the children of Israel get to this place called Marah, and it's very bitter. So what is the great teacher, the one who's leading them, telling them? Because it's not, wouldn't it just been better if they had got there and just let Yah take care of it? You know, you don't have to go on the intercom and say, hey, we can't drink, we're going to die here. Like he does, remember, he's leading them. He's leading them. So Yah will lead us places, and we do what? Overreact. We overreact. They got there and overreacted. I mean, forget the waters we just saw got split open, and the army just gets swallowed up in it. So one's life reflects the heart. So once again, when it comes to this walk, and especially during this time of Shavuot, you know, a lot of things are brought to our attention about our what? Heart. Ourselves, our heart. Because the heart is our root. The heart is our root. Because what was prophesied by the prophet Jeremiah and Ezekiel, what did they say? That Yah was going to write what? On your what? So, and he said, I refuse to do it on hard stone again. So if your heart is hard, then I'm not writing on your heart. I will not do that again. That's that I will not do it again. Like I will not be put to open public shame again. So I will not do it again. So you have to have a heart transplant so that I can smoothly write this on your heart. So the heart is a source for us, or for humanity, not to have a hard heart. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. So when we get to the waters of Marah and the waters were bitter, what is Yah telling the children of Israel? That they are bitter from within. So in other words, they were not bitter coming out of Egypt. They were bitter before they left Egypt. As we get closer to him, more things are exposed. Does that make sense? As you get closer to him. Why? Because he's light. The New Testament says he is the brightness of his coming. Hebrews says he's a consuming fire. The law is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So he is light. All light does is help you to see. So when he shines his light on you, it's a good thing. But from the aspects of our flesh and different character things and different habitual things, that light will show. It will expose, as it says in Ephesians, to expose the certain things. So I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. So being bitter is something from within. Bitterness is connected to the soul or to the spirit. So when I got to the water, Yah was showing them the condition of their spirit or the condition of their soul. He was showing them that they were very bitter. That they were so bitter, you had to take a tree and throw a tree in there to make it sweet. The heart knoweth his own what? Bitterness. The heart knoweth his own bitterness. And a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. Proverbs 14:10. The heart knoweth his own bitterness. So bitterness is something from within. And Yah was showing the children of Israel at Marah about themselves. But you know what they said? You're trying to kill me. We can't drink. What y'all doing? So he trying to tell them something about themselves. You know what they did? They pointed right back at him. That sounds familiar, don't it? Remember a couple weeks ago we talked about being an Adamite? Everybody got some Adamite in them. You don't believe what Adam did when it come down to that meeting. You know, Most High coming through in the cool of the day, smooth, just coming through how he do. And there was Adam, Kahua, and the serpent. You won't believe what Adam's rebuttal was. He said, well, the woman that you gave me. Adam, what have you done? Well, the woman that you gave me, She gave me this to eat. So the children of Israel did the same thing. Places, whoa, water bitter. It's about you. But you know, we got that quick. It was a cartoon. It was that cartoon. Quick Draw McGraw. That dog. He was like a Western dog. Quick Draw McGraw. And no matter who he fight, the man pull that 6-shooter out that belt so quick. But we are a quick draw. Right? Because we're going to defend ourselves quickly, efficiently. Sometimes Yah's trying to show us the bitterness in the heart. Brother, in Revelation 22:2. I'm going to touch on it briefly about how he and the tree, through the tree and the water.
In the middle of its street, and on either side of the river, was the tree of life.
Was a who?
The tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation.
Was for the what?
The healing of the nation.
The what of the tree?
The fruit.
Well, so the leaves of the tree was for the healing of the who?
Nations.
So when the tree is thrown, I wonder if that tree had some leaves on it when they threw it in the water. And then it made the water, so the water went from bitter to sweet. Then you can drink. So in one aspect, you can now drink. But another aspect, you know, I'm going to heal you. I'm going to heal you. Why do we prolong his healing? Why do we prolong the things that Yah have for us? Why do we prolong it? Why can't we just get out our own way? To make you go back to that Romans 8 again and look at the battle between the carnal mind and the spiritual mind. So we can sit here and read Peter say, see, Peter just said this, and then all of a sudden he said that. Well, how many times we flip-flop out our mouth throughout the day? How many times we flip-flop with our tongue? A week. Flip-flop for a month. Flip-flop for a year. We can sit here and read Peter. Peter in a better place than we are. I would say. And he did it. And he's with him. We've been far from him. Yeah, I've been in truth for 10 years. Or I've been doing this 15, 20 years. Peter walked with him. He's real quick. Said, man, you're my adversary. Stuff to consider. Brother, let me give Ezekiel 47, 1 through 13. Got a lot for you today. You're gonna put this in overtime today, brother. Shout it out. Just lift up thy voice.
47, 13.
Show Jacob their sins. Yeah, 47, Ezekiel 1 through 13.
1 through 13. And he turned me back to the door of the house. And look, water was flowing from under the threshold of the house toward the east. For the house faced east, and the water was flowing from under the right side of the house.
What was flowing?
Water. House from the south of the slaughter place. And he led me out by way of the north gate, and took me round on the outside to the outer gate facing the east. And look, water trickling out on the right side. As the man went out to the east with the line in his hand, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he made me pass over in the water to the ankles. And he measured 1,000 and made me pass over into water to the knees. And he measured 1,000 and made me pass over water to the loins. And he measured 1,000, a stream that I was unable to pass over, for the water had risen, water to swim, a stream that is not passed over. And he said to me, Son of man, have you seen this? And he led me and brought me back to the bank of the stream. When I returned, then look, along the bank of the stream,
what did he see?
There were very many trees.
Very who?
Very many trees.
A bunch of?
Very many. On one side and the other.
Wow.
And he said to me, these waters are flowing toward the eastern country, and go down into Arabah, and enter the sea, being made to flow into the sea, and the waters shall be healed.
The water shall do what?
Healed. And it shall be that every swarming creature, wherever the stream goes, shall live, and there shall be very many fish, for these waters shall go there.
Very many what?
Water shall go there, many fish.
Many fish. I wonder when the prophet is prophesying, I wonder when he say fish is that symbolism for people. What number you in?
I'm at 9.
9, okay, keep going.
9. Going to 18?
13.
13, excuse me. And they are healed, and wherever the stream flows, all shall live. And it shall be that fishermen stand along it from En
That who gonna stand along it?
Fishermen.
Okay.
From En Gedi to En Galaim, being places for spreading their nets. Their fish is to be
spreading their who?
Their nets.
I wonder, when Yahshua was selecting his team, who did he pick?
Fishermen.
That's right.
So I wonder when he was on earth, if there was like an increase of the Ruach going throughout the earth. Have mercy. Keep on going.
Their fish is to be of the same kind as the fish of the great sea. Very many. Its swamps, and marshes shall not be healed. They shall be given over to salt. And by the bank of the stream, on both sides, grow all kinds of trees used for food, whose leaves do not wither and fruit do not fail.
The leaves do not what?
They do not wither.
And the fruit what?
Does not fail.
Amen.
They bear fruit every new moon, because their water flows from the set apart place.
So at some point in the future, when the kingdom is established, you'll know the new moon by the what?
Fruit.
On the trees. Ain't gonna be no complaining and fighting no more. Ain't gonna be no, no. Look at the trees. Everything gonna be on one accord. Go ahead.
Amen.
And their fruit shall be for food, and their leaves for healing. Read 13. Thus said the Master Yah, this is the border by which you inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Israel, 2 portions for Joseph.
Master plan there. So, but all he did in the wilderness, he just did a little appetizer. Waters is awful. I'm gonna throw this tree in there and gonna make the water ripe so they can drink it. Brother, Hebrews 12, 15 through 25. Hebrews 12, 15 through 25.
See to it that no one falls short of the favor of Elohim, that no root of bitterness springing up causes trouble.
That no what?
That no root of bitterness springing up causes trouble.
So a root of bitterness can do what? It can cause trouble. So this same bitterness, as we talked about, the children of Israel went to Marah, and the waters were what? Bitter. Did it cause them some trouble? It made them complain, didn't it? But all it did was reveal what was in their heart. Because according to the book, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. So now we're seeing how the true mercy of Yah is that you don't think he knew that they had some bitterness in their heart? You don't think he knew that there was a damaged people, damaged goods? But you know what? You damaged goods.
Amen.
It's issues in your head. It's things in your background. It's things in your forefront. It's things in your hip pocket. Huh? And he's still merciful and is still drawing you. I know I got you somewhere. Keep your finger there. John 6 and 44. Now you're going to go back to that. But John 6 and 44 right quick.
I got you. No one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him.
He does what?
Draws him.
Draws him. So I wonder if he drew them out of Mizraim. I wonder if he drew you out of your state. Drew you where you came from.
Amen. Okay.
And when he drew you, you had some bitterness, selfishness, some whatever you had it. And you know what he did? He drew you anyway. So when we're looking at this journey with the children of Israel, you got to look at your own journey. Each stop, each place is telling you something about you. It's telling you about you. Go ahead and go back to Hebrews, brother. Bless you.
That no root of bitterness springing up causes trouble, by which many become defiled. Lest there be anyone who whores, or profane one, like Esau, who for a single meal sold his birthright. For you know that afterward, when he wished to inherit the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place for repentance, though he sought it with tears.
Sought it with tears. He cried his eyes out, didn't he? Hollered and shouted.
Yep.
That, man, look, it's gone, man. And can you imagine the hollering and shouting when Yeshua come back, or at the throne of judgment? He say, go to the sheep to the right and goats to the left. Gonna be a lot of hollering and shouting, man. Or in that parable where he said, look, I never knew you. Depart from me. Gonna be a lot of hollering and shouting. But Esau did a lot of hollering and shouting. You know what? There was no repentance for you. Go ahead.
For you have not drawn near to a mountain touched and scorched with fire.
Drawn near to what?
A mountain. And to blackness and darkness and storm.
Hold up right there. Drawn up to where?
A mountain.
Look on the screen. Talking about that mountain? Oh, it's still here in our time? So the evidence of the mighty one exists all throughout the earth. Whether it's the top of Mount Sinai in Arabia, if they don't want nobody there, or whether it's a replica of Noah's Ark, or whether it's the other Noah's Ark in Turkey, that's their national museum. So it's evidence of him. So I just shake my head. Folks be saying crazy stuff about Yah and about the book and stuff like that. Like, okay. But in the meantime, you do what you do. But the people that's in the house, you're going to get judged first now. So we got to have ourselves together. Go ahead, brother.
And a sound of a trumpet. And a voice of words, so that those who heard it begged that no further words should be spoken to them.
So don't even talk no more. Can't handle it. Go ahead.
For they could not bear what was commanded. If even a beast touches the mountain, it shall be stoned or shot through with an arrow. And so fearsome was the sight that Moshe said, I exceedingly fear and tremble. But you have drawn near to Mount Sion, and to the city of the living Elohim.
So we're drawn to a different mountain, right? This is our example to talk about, to parallel, to compare and contrast. But we're looking at a different mountain. Okay? We see that? There's something different. Something spiritual. Because you cannot have a carnal mind, but you got to have a spiritual mind. The Father is searching for people who are what? Worshiping in what? Spirit and truth. Right? The Yah is a spirit. I don't know off the top of my head, but where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is what? Okay. So we want to be free. I think it was in Isaiah 14 about the house of the prisoners not opened. So if you want to be free, then you have to be in the Spirit. Go ahead, brother.
To the heavenly Jerusalem, to myriads of messengers, to the entire gathering and assembly of the firstborn, having been enrolled in heaven, and to Elohim, the judge of all, and to the spirits of righteous men made perfect, and to Yeshua, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling, which speaks better than the blood of Hebel. Take heed not to refuse the one speaking. For if those did not escape who refused the warning on earth.
If those who did what?
Did not escape.
They did not escape.
Now. Much less we who turn away from him.
Much less who?
Much less we who turn away from him from heaven.
So they're saying, hey, the one that was speaking on top of the mountain, if they didn't get away with it, then how much more when he speaks from the Shemayim, Now, we go through the New Testament, we'll find places where there was a voice from heaven. So when he starts speaking from that throne, that ain't be time to get right. Thank you, brothers. So after that, they stopped at Elim. Elim, and in Exodus 15, I think, 16. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" So we're still talking about what? Water. And he cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which he had cast through the waters, and the waters were made sweet. And there he made him a statute ordinance forever, or that he proved them and said, "If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice, diligently hearken to the voice, and the Lord thy God will do that which is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all the statutes, that will put none of the diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord with that healeth thee." So one of the characteristics of Yah is to heal you. Why? Because in John 6:44, he says, "No man comes to me except the Father who sent me draws him." So he's drawing you, but you're not really ready. You're not ready. So you are damaged goods. So a characteristic of the master is to heal you. And then they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, 70 palm trees. And they encamped there by the what? Waters. So they had an issue at Mahra with the waters. They couldn't drink. So then Yah says, okay, so we throw the tree in there. The waters is made sweet. It became a statute and an ordinance. He showed himself. And again, and he said, if in verse 26, if you will diligently hearken to the voice. Well, I think it's Shema, Shema. If you will diligently hearken to the voice. Now, what did we just read in Hebrews 13? About the what?
I did not hear his voice.
About the voice. And then it's so for us in this new covenant with better promises, you know what? When that voice thundered from the Shemaim, you better have your behind ready. So before they even get to the mountain, look how good Yah is. He's preparing them for him. Yeah, you know, with your kids, you ask them a couple of times nicely. Wasn't that example from this morning? Before you start getting crunk with them. Before you start making faces and grabbing belts or house shoes or switches or whatever you got. I should say that quietly so CPS don't come running. They come knock on my door, I'm gone. They'll say, big old man, big statue, get him out of here, lock him up. If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice, everything gonna be good. I got you. So then after this encounter, they come to Elim. And so the people had an issue with water. There was no water. So he takes them to a mini what? Like almost like a mini, if you go to the beach, a mini paradise. Because they're in the wilderness. In this rest stop, there was how many wells of water?
12 tribes.
I wonder why 12. And there were 70 palm trees. So we have to realize on the journey during this time of season for us, don't spoil the blessing. Don't spoil the blessing. Just because you don't see it, don't mean it ain't there. Just you don't see it. You don't understand it. But don't spoil the blessing. How do we spoil the blessing? How spoiled are you? How spoiled are we? Right? Last week was a great example. It was hot up in there. If I'd have been about that, we'd have finished up. There ain't no hotter in here than you outside in the wilderness. That's a whole nother heat. It's so hot out there, he got to be a pillar of cloud by day to give him some shade. It's so hot. I supernaturally provide water for them. All right, so how spoiled are we? Hmm? So Elim means palms. Palms. Okay, now that's not necessarily palm trees, but just palms. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. All right, and it's built from the word Ayil. Ayil. Okay, and that means ram, strength, doorpost, leader. Now somebody in your New Testament said that they're a what? Door. Right? Ask, seek, and knock at the door. So someone said that they're a door. And then that child root is ul. I'm sorry, I didn't write down what it meant. I think it meant not freestyle. Meant something had to do something with being strong, power. Palms. Palms. Reader, let me give Isaiah 49 and 16. Isaiah 49 and 16.
See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands.
On the who?
The palms of my hands.
Mm.
Your walls are always before me.
Mm.
Your son shall hurry. Your destroyers and those who laid you waste depart from you.
Mm. So he inscribed them where?
On the palms of his hands. Come.
So okay. We're back to the study. All right. So the names are engraved or inscribed in the palms of his hands. Now I think in the Gospel of John, we'll see where Yahshua makes a statement that who he's claimed, that they're in his hand. And if you're in his hand, then you're in who else's hand? The Father's hand. And no one can do what? No one can take them out.
Hallelujah.
No one can take you out. There's only one thing about that now.
You.
Huh? You. So can't nobody take you out of his hands. But you know what you can do? You can weasel and squirm and work your way out of his hand. You can weasel and squirm your way out. Roll over and jump in some baby oil and try to slide through the fingers and try to get out. And he ain't gonna stop. If the blind follow the blind, and they both fall in the ditch. My bad. So how many elders were allowed to worship afar off? How many? 70. So when they first got to Elim, how many palm trees were there? It was 70, which is what? 70. And how many wells of water? In the Bamidbar, or in the book of Numbers, the Ruach fell on how many elders? 70. So right after the Mahra incident, he takes them out. He takes them to a place called Elim, where there was 12 wells of water, and there were 6. So it probably looked good. Can you imagine that? It probably looked like, oh man, it probably looked awesome. It probably looked really good. And then, on the screen, Exodus 16, wilderness of sin. And they took their journey from where? Elim. And all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of sin. Where is the wilderness of sin at? It's between Elim and, Sinai. So we're getting closer to the doorsteps of the mountain. Just making our way. Getting closer. So remember, the place of Elim is after Mahra. It was bitter. They complained. They had issues. So then he said, look, if you believe in me, you trust in me, diligently here, I got you. Then I take you somewhere. I lead you to this place that probably looked awesome. 70 palm trees, 12 wells of water, relaxed. They encamped is what the book said. They relaxed. They got to hang out. So which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 7th month after the departing out of the land of Egypt, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and Aharon in the wilderness. They murmured against them in the wilderness. So where are they now? They're in the wilderness of what? Sin. So if we look at this in Hebrew, sin, it means thorn or clay. Thorn or clay. And this is a trail or like a track between Elim or Sinai. So remember, they just left a nice resort. Okay? You ever had a bad hotel experience or a bad staying in somebody's house experience, and then you go somewhere else right after? It was like, oh man, it's so much better. It's so nice. That's something we can relate to, right? You've had a bad experience somewhere, and then you go to a nicer place. Okay? So now the wilderness of sin, thorn or clay. Okay? Thorn or clay. So we got a Hebrew example. Let's get a visual. Here's your visual. That's probably what it looked like. Look at the ground. So remember, sin is thorn or clay. So the clay is referencing to the ground. To the ground. And this ground is so hard that it can become thorny. You see how like how it's all broken? It's like a bad tile job. But if you step on that edge, your sandals, right? They ain't got no Air Force Ones out there. They ain't got no stacks out there. You step and your toe hits something the wrong way, it's like a thorn. So they left Elim, where there was palm trees and water, and now they're here. Would you be complaining?
Yeah.
On the stops, this as we reach 50, the set apart day next Sunday. How much have we done this? Something good, something bad, what we deem as bad. Let's get a little definition here. Clay and soil definition. Clay is a type of soil or dirt that is made of very small particles. You can mold clay into different shapes when it's wet. When it's what? Wet. Water. But if there's no water in the wilderness of sin. So the ground is like clay or thorns. Look at this definition. Clay is terrible, I got it in green, for planting a vegetable garden. So this kind of ground ain't no life in it. Remember the parable of the sower? Sometimes the seed fall into what? Good ground. And they said, Master, what does this mean? He said the good ground is the, starts with H. Heart. The good ground is the heart. So he takes them to a place called the wilderness of sin. Before they get to him, they're in between Elim and Sinai. They ain't there yet, but they getting there. And he takes them to a place, and they have to walk on this ground that is hard clay like thorns. What is he telling them? About their heart. Heart is hard. Clay is terrible for planting. I'm trying to put something in you, but you won't let me. So it's terrible for planting a vegetable garden, but it's perfect for making pottery, tiles, or bricks. You can shape damp clay into a bowl or a cup when it is dried and fired in a very hot oven. It becomes extremely hard and sturdy. The old English root of clay is, I think this is right, clay egg, clay, clog, clegg, something. Stiff, sticky earth. You don't believe what Yahshua said about the children of Israel. What Yah said about the children of Israel. He said, y'all's are what? Stiff-necked people. So the ground is hard, it's stiff. And here they come. You just came out your vacation resort. He told you, I got you. Brother, give me Exodus 16:1. And just start reading. And I'll just stop.
And they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second new moon after their going out of the land of Mizraim. And all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe.
They did what?
They grumbled against Moshe and Aharon in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, if only we had died by the hand of Yah in the land of Mizraim, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to satisfaction.
Say, if they'd have died by the hands of who?
Yah.
Woo. So in other words, how would they have died in the land of Mizraim?
By the plagues.
Huh?
By the plagues.
How would they have died? By Yah's hand. Just think for a second. What was the final blow that got them out of there? They got thrusted out.
Well, Israel's my firstborn. The death of them.
So how would they have died? If we don't commit to this agreement with the lamb and putting the sacrificing the lamb and doing the blood and marking. So it'd have been better if I hadn't even done that. It'd have been better. Because this walk you got me on now, this straight narrow path, man, it's for the birds. You got me on this walk, and it's terrible. It's horrible. It would have been better that you had killed me in Egypt. It would have been better if I had not sacrificed the lamb, if I had not selected the lamb on the 10th day, slain it, roasted it, and put blood, and saying, yeah, let the death angel pass over my house. It would have been better if I hadn't done it and let death come on in. It would have been better. So now, this should make sense when he takes them there. Because from the abundance of the mouth speaks. So what they're talking about, he's showing them. I took you to some bitter waters because your spirit's bitter. Now you're in a place where the ground is hard as clay and thorns. Because you know why? Because that's your heart. Hope that makes sense. Keep on reading.
For you have brought us out into this wilderness to put all this assembly to death with hunger. And Yah said to Moshe, see, I am raining bread from the heavens for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, in order to try them, whether they walk in my Torah or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moshe and Aharon said to all the children of Israel, at evening you shall know that Yah has brought you out of the land of Mizraim. And in the morning you shall see the esteem of Yah, for he hears your grumblings against Yah. And what are we that you grumble against us?
Have mercy. We'll stop right there, bro. Okay, so the murmuring has gone up. We're here in a place that looks like a bad tile job. No water. No nothing. It looks terrible. We just left a great vacation resort. Come on, all-powerful, great God. Why would you do this? What are y'all doing?
Right.
Huh? And Yah the whole time. But that's why I said, man, he's an amazing teacher now.
Yeah.
But you know what the problem is? Sometimes you be in class, you know you ain't paying no attention. Huh? Got your phones out, doodling on your notes. That'd be me. I'd be doodling on my note paper. Not paying attention. Teacher up there, teach. Got something good for you. I'm giving you. This is hands-on learning. Sometimes some work you got to do, you got to learn while you're on the job. Right. You ain't got the opportunity to go through training. You ain't got a chance to do no professional growth and development. It's on the job. You got to come in here ready to roll. This is how you walk by faith, not by your sight. It's Clay's definition. Yeah. Message. So as they're approaching the mountain, say, man, look, y'all spirit and your heart just not right. And we already read it, but Yah's looking for people to worship in
spirit
and truth. So that's why in Hebrews say, hey, the same gospel is preached unto us was preached unto them. The same. I want you to be with me in spirit and truth. So the children of Israel, they murmured, right? We saw that, right? With them, they murmured, right? The Hebrew for that is loon. Loon. We've I don't know how many years we've talked about this. All praise to Yah. To lodge, stop over, pass the night, abide. So the children of Israel is on a journey. They're going somewhere, right? He's bringing them to him, right? He's drawing them into himself, okay? But in the process of him drawing them, something is interfering. You know what's interfering? They're murmuring. And when they murmur, the Hebrew for loon means to lodge, to stop. So if we're saying that Israel's journey, that this is about growing, so that when people murmur, are you still growing? No. You've halted the process of growing. You halted it. Because something is or was what you didn't thought it was, and then you murmured. And then when you murmured, you stopped the growing process.
Yeah.
That would be like the trees or the things of the field that produces food for us, and then they begin to murmur against Yah. Man, we ain't had no rain on how many days? Man, this is some turkey baloney, man. I don't know what all this is. And then all of a sudden, the food, the fruit trees, the vegetation that produces fruit stop growing. Things in the earth that he made to produce fruit. Its seed, sprouts, grows, harvest. If the food, the vegetation that you can eat began to murmur and it stopped growing, what's the effect of that?
Fruit dies.
Not ready by harvest. Not ready by harvest. Crop wasted.
It stunts our growth.
So when we make our commitment with Pesach and we go through unleavened bread and so on and so forth, and we begin this journey, right? We know this is it's a emotional wave, unfortunately. You're on cloud nine, you're rolling, you had a good time, and you ain't had no levy, because everything going good. But then at some point, people begin to murmur. And in murmuring, we hinder our growth. Because by the time we get to next Sunday, we're supposed to be somewhere spiritually. Because Yahshua looked and said the harvest is what?
Ready.
Plentiful. But the laborers are few. So for those of us that are wanting to be those pillars inside the spiritual house he's building, we have to be at certain places at each set apart assembly or each moedim, at each parts of the year. Right? You have to grow spiritually. So in this time of year, the children of Israel in the past, they murmured and they stopped growing. So that has not ceased. Okay? That has not ceased. What was the last thing you read, brother? I'm sorry.
Exodus
Mm-hmm.
16.
Exodus 16?
Yeah.
Okay. It said here that the clay is good for making, first the clay is terrible for planting a vegetable garden. Give us Isaiah 51 and 1 through 7. Isaiah 5, 1 through 7, my bad. Isaiah 5, 1 through 7. Because he showed them, or took them to a place the ground was hard as clay. And the general definition of clay is that it's terrible for planting a vegetable garden.
Please let me sing to the one I love. A song for my loved one regarding his vineyard.
His who?
His vineyard. My loved one has a vineyard on a fertile hill.
On a what kind of hill?
A fertile hill.
Not a clay hill?
No.
It's got to be fertile?
Yes.
Some good ground, but not clay though?
Nope.
Go ahead.
And he dug it up and cleared it of stones, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a watchtower in its midst, and also made a winepress in it. And he waited for the yielding of grapes, but it yielded.
He waited?
He waited.
For the what?
Yielding of grapes.
So he waited for the harvest. So he waited for something to grow. Time. We talked about that in class, about time. So when we get to Shavuot, there's been time. How much time? We had to count 50 days. Right? How much growth was there in that time? The owner of the vineyard is expecting something. How do we know that? This is written in our book. Go ahead.
But it yielded rotten ones. And now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem, and man of Yehuda, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard?
We said, what did he say?
My vineyard. What more could have been done?
What more could I have done? I mean, I provided for you. I made bread fall down. I made this come out of nowhere. We went to a great resort. And what else you want me to do? Go ahead.
That I have not done in it. Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield rotten?
So Yah's like, look, I did everything for you. I made it to where you can make it. I just want my return. I just want my fruit. I want you to produce my fruit. And then when it's time to produce fruit, it's rotten. So what kind of fruit is he talking about? Somebody give us Galatians right quick. Galatians 5 and 23. Brother, you stay where you at. Somebody else give us Galatians. Galatians 5 and 22, I'm sorry.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
So, that's the fruit of the Spirit. Now, brother, you go ahead and back up just maybe a few lines and then read.
Now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem and man of Yehuda, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield ripe ones?
Stop right there. So, when it comes to producing fruit, Yah's looking at your love, joy, peace, temperance, patience, long-suffering, meekness. But then he just said, but there was wild stuff produced. I wonder where that wild stuff come from. It probably came from your heart. And you won't believe this, but we know what he showed them? That your heart is hard as this clay. Because from the abundance of the mouth, the speaks. But from the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. Thank you, brother. So now we can tie this and see that Yah wants a specific kind of fruit, but the actions or things we say produces wild grapes, wild fruit. And he said, what else could I have done? So what else could I have done to keep you from producing that? What verse you on?
5.
Go ahead, finish.
And now, please, let me inform you what I am doing to my vineyard. To take away its hedge, and it shall be burned.
Take away the what?
Its hedge, and it shall be burned.
So if the garden ain't no good, he gonna take away the hedge. If the garden can't, if it ain't gonna work, you ain't gonna produce, I'm gonna take away the hedge. Go ahead.
To break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. And I lay it waste. It is not pruned or dug, and thorn bushes and weeds shall come up. And I command the clouds not to rain on it. For the vineyard of Yah of hosts is the house of Israel, and the man of Yehuda is his pleasant plant. He looked for right ruling, but see oppression. For righteousness.
He looked for what?
For right ruling.
And in John 4, the Father is searching for those who worship in
spirit and truth.
Oh, okay.
For righteousness, but see weeping. Keep going.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do Jeremiah 18, 1 through 6. This so this clay is terrible for planting, but it is good for making pottery. Then if somebody could get Ezekiel 36 and 26, it'll be our last verses.
Okay. The word which came to Yirmiyahu from Yah, saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I let you hear my words. So I went down to the potter's house and saw him doing a piece of work on the wheel, and the vessel that he made of clay was ruined in the hand of the potter. So he remade it into another vessel, and it seemed good to the potter to do. Then the word of Yah came to me, saying, O house of Israel, am I not able to do with you as this potter? Declares Yah. Look, as the clay is in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel.
Amen. So we looked at, yes, exactly. So when we look at this ground, we see there's one side, man, hey, I can't plant nothing here, ain't no vegetation, right? And there's something that you need, right, for this clay to really work. What do you need? You need one thing, you need water. So what else is he showing them? He's showing them that, hey, you are like this hard clay, but when I put my ruach on you, I can do what? I can mold you, I can shape you, I can fix you, I can form you, and I'll form you by my what? Hands.
For noble use.
So they didn't go there just for no reason. Trying to tell them something. Trying to tell us something. Right? That I can do certain things with you. Okay. Who's got Ezekiel 36, 26?
Ezekiel 36, 26.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you a new heart.
A new what?
A new heart. And put a new spirit within you.
A new who?
A new spirit.
New spirit. Go ahead.
I will take the heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh.
So, for us to have a new heart, we have to have the spirit. When the spirit hits that water, hits that clay, he can mold us, he can form us, he can whatever vessel he wants to. What you got there, brother?
Because I just landed right on it when I was flipping. Psalms 51 and 10.
Go ahead and read.
Created me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renewed a steadfast spirit within me.
51 and 10.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Let's talk about the murmur. So on the journey to Yah, which is through Yahshua, right? So I know we're saying getting back to Yah, getting back to the Father, but they can only transpire if we're going through Yahshua. Okay? All right, so on the journey to Yah, through Yahshua, we loom too much. Okay? We loom too much. We stop too much. We hinder growth too much. We murmur too much. Okay? Or as we're trying to get somewhere, we loom too much. Okay? So on this road where he is constantly reminding us of certain areas, the weak areas that we got to grow in, got to get better in. Okay? And number 7, the Rephidim in Exodus 17, 1 through 16. The congregation of children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin. After their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, there was what? No water for the people to drink. So the point of there not being any water is referencing to them. Okay? No ruach. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do you tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people murmured, loomed against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? Moses cried to the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. Let me tell you something here. This is for us today. For the people who follow Moses in the wilderness or the world, when pressure cranks up, like they're under pressure right now, and they, in their mind, my life on the line, my kids' life on the line, my cattle, my possessions, I'm going to kill you, Moses. So all the people, when pressure cranks up in the world or the wilderness, all you people who follow that Moses, you follow that law, which you understand is spiritual. You understand it's Yahshua. But you know what? The people of the world are going to want to kill you when pressure cranks up. There'll be a purge. It'll be a purge of the saints. Rephidim, it means rest, stays, resting place, resting places. That's built from the word rephidah, and it means to support. Okay, and then the child root is rafad, and it means to strew or to spread out. So when they come to the place of Rephidim, it's supposed to be a place of what? Rest. He brought them to a place where you say, hey, take your shoes off. Lay down. Relax. With the children of Israel, they did what? They murmured. So Yah had something good for them. They didn't realize it was something good for them. Right? And it turned to a fiasco. Right? Turned to a fiasco for them. Right. Exodus 17, 5 through 8. And the Lord said unto Moses, go on before the people, and take thee with thee the elders of Israel with thy rod, wherewith thou smote the river, take in thy hand, and go, behold, I will stand before thee upon the rock in Horeb, and I will smite the rock. There shall come water out of it, and the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. He called the name of the place Massa Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in the resting place. I put resting place there. But just to give us an understanding that Amalek came and fought with them in the place where they were supposed to rest. He had a lot of water there. When we look at the word, that second word, Rephidah, that means support. He had a support system there for them. Just didn't know it because they couldn't see it. Don't mean it ain't there. Just because you see something don't mean it ain't there. So it was a place for them to rest. It became a place of war. How did it become a place of war? Because they murmured. There was no growth. And you know there's a parable about branches that are attached to the vine that don't produce fruit. What happened to them branches?
Burn up.
Cut off, burnt up. So then all of a sudden Amalek comes. Because these people are not producing fruit. Every other time something comes out of their mouth and it's not fruitful. Remember 1 Corinthians 10 now. The way they tempted him. That's us. You gotta see that. So then the next stop was before the mount. Okay, Exodus 19, 1 through 2. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. So they have departed the Rephidim, and they're come to the desert of Sinai, and now they've pitched, or they're camped before the mount, or like the mountain. Okay? So now it's like right there. And you can see it. Right? So they have camped before the mount. They just got through fighting. It was a place of rest for them. It became a place of war for them because of their mouth. Israel camped before the mount. Okay? Mount, excuse me. Chana. Chana, that means declined, to bend down, to bow, inclined to pitch a tent. Okay? This is where it gets very, very good here. The child root is chanan. Chanan. And that means to be gracious, show mercy, or pity. Now, who's being gracious, and who's showing mercy, and who's having pity?
Yeah, sure. No, wait, yeah.
Come with your son. So they camped before the mountain. We didn't read it, but in John 6 and 44, right, that no man come to me, that the Father which sent me draws him. So when he drew them to him, he drew them in Hanan. The root of that was in what? Mercy. Grace. Because I think we're pretty clear when we read this that they're not a altogether people. They're not wound up right. There's been incident after incident after incident because there are some things in here and in here that are not right. But he was so merciful that he allowed them, because remember, he's leading them. He's bringing them through, and then they camped right there before the mount. They camped right before the mount. Okay? So when you're at the mount, now you can see. It's very visible now. This is the reckoning point, the destination point. We can use this as an example and stuff, but we read in Hebrews that we're looking for that Mount Zion. For something spiritual that we're trying to attain. That's why as they stumbled and fell and didn't grow necessarily, probably physically and spiritually too, we're in the same boat. We're trying to get somewhere. But it's spiritual because the flesh and blood shall not what? So it has to be something by the Ruach. So with that being said, Todah Yah, Hashem Yahshua for the word, for the inspiration, for the guidance in the word, and hopefully just for us to just continue to self-examination doesn't end now. Okay, just because it ain't Passover no more, or we ain't in atonement, that don't mean that it's not over. Okay, it's not over. So, but give all praise to Yah for the word, for the guidance of the word, for the confirmation, the things that people in Kentucky were needed an extra boost, and to be able to just carry the mail and know that you're carrying the mail. And then we finish the mail, finish our route for this week. But anyway, so all the website stuff is up there, email, all the contact information through social media, and then prayer line and Bible study and stuff like that. And with that being said, just all praise to Yah, and Most High is good. Just thank Him for His mercy, the way that He had mercy on them and brought them to the mount. He's having mercy on us and bringing us to Him. And that's why, our God is a God of mercy. He is a God of war, but He's a God of love first. And, He would love for us to get ourselves together.
Amen.
Right? He would love for us to be on time. He would love for us to be the place in our spirit and our heart we're supposed to be. We just don't love it as much as he do. You got teachers and coaches and administrators in here. You done dealt with people that you wanted it more than them. But how you think your Heavenly Father is with you? He wanted way more than you do. He wanted so much, he sent his own. For you. But we just a forgetful people.
Yep.
But anyway, with that being said, peace and shalom.